ready to shoot over to Atlanta and visit a friend of mine, Anthony Deljou. Anthony is the owner of Deljou Art Group. Deljou Art Group is a fine art publisher dedicated to the creation, promotion, and distribution of the finest original paintings, sculpture, photography, art prints, and handcrafted framing that they supply to their clients. He collaborates with cutting-edge, emerging, and forward-thinking artists. And I've known Anthony for probably too long to even say. He does look a lot more handsome and young than I do. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Anthony.
Hi.
How are you guys?
Good.
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I have to be honest. You know, we shut down here. The gallery shut down at 6 o'clock, and I thought I'd log in for like 5 or 10 minutes to get an idea of the scope of what's happening. I've been locked in for the last hour and a half. I have been so entertained. And on a Friday at 7 o'clock here in Atlanta, in a long year, and the end of in December, I've been re-energized with the passion of all of these artists, and I realize why I'm in this business and why I love this business so much.
Well, that's a good.
Awesome.
That's a good statement.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. I really like that. You're going to start?
Yeah. Anthony, I know you work in a very unique space. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we have a pretty unique space. Eric's been here before, and I hope you get a chance to visit one time. The space used to be an old margarine factory. Our building's about 100,000 square feet, arguably probably one of the largest galleries in the country. We have about 50,000 square feet of showroom gallery space, and another 25,000 square feet of production, which is we have digital printing capabilities and obviously our framing and shipping departments, but we also have another 25,000 square feet of artist studios. And so when I was watching, Dave and Padilla and Risk and Gatsby, the scene that you saw at Gatsby's studio is what you'll find in our studio, where we have artists that we represent. They actually come in and similar space as to what you see there. Even Risk, where he's laid out the pieces. So we have a similar arrangement for our artists. They come in and we provide everything for them, and they basically paint. And we take on the responsibility of marketing, selling, and distributing their artwork.
Right.
Very cool.
And just so the audience knows, this is kind of a lifting up the kimono, looking inside the art business discussion that we're having with Anthony right now, because they're a multifaceted company. I mean, I know you do work with designers and hotels and big projects, as well as there's a whole fine art, and you've got some famous artists under your umbrella that do a lot of the art fairs and are represented in galleries. So
right. We're a little unique in what we do, and we've got multiple facets of different business units, all in the art sphere, handling different market segments. So, for example, we have a art consulting business, about 35 employees in that section, and their focus is primarily providing art consulting services to the hospitality industry. So, for example, we'll do the Bellagio Hotel. We'll do all of their public art, all of their guest art. It's an independent consultancy. We'll work with artists from all around the world. We buy millions of dollars worth of artwork. We could reach out to Risk or Gatsby, other artists that you have, and we purchase their artwork and we specify it for projects, whether it's a big hotel or a big corporation. So that's one piece of our business. Deljou Art Group is our art publishing company, where we represent artists exclusively and sell their artwork to other galleries. So we have gallery partners all over the world. We were talking earlier how the shows have been canceled. We probably do 15 shows a year. We travel and do one-man shows throughout Europe, here in New York and Aspen, you name it, out on the West Coast. So that's kind of stopped this year, but that's our responsibility as a representative of the artist, to put them in galleries. So we have a distribution of hundreds of galleries around the world that we sell to. And then we have the fine art side where we do the art fairs, the Art Miamis, and the Santa Fe shows, and you name it. We do about 10 of those fairs. So we're completely art, but in different market segments, all in the scope of selling and promoting artists.
I love that. Why don't you give the audience a few tips about collecting art, and something I'm sure you and I could probably talk about for an hour, but let's hear a few tips from you. I'd love to hear that.
Well, collecting art, in my opinion, and I might not be the most qualified person to speak on this. I mean, I've been in the art business for 30-something years, but personally, the way I treat, the way I tell my customers when they look at art is to buy something you love. And Dave spoke about this earlier. Buy something that speaks to you. Buy something that motivates you or inspires you. The money aspect can come later. We have artists that we've represented, the same as the herring piece you guys were talking about, where someone like a Craig Allen, where 10 years ago, Craig's pieces we were selling for $500-600 a piece. We sold a piece the other day for about $70,000. I would tell the same story to the person that bought it at $500 that I would tell the person who bought it for $70,000. Buy the piece because you love it. Buy the piece because you enjoy it. It'll be a generational piece. It'll be a gift to your estate, to your family members, and so forth. So that's the number one thing. I have pieces in my collection that might have gone up in price, not gone anywhere in price, but it's irrelevant because I purchased it because I love it. I purchased it because I want to live with it and pass it on to my children. So I think that's the number one rule. And when you get into the blue chip stuff, that's a whole different category of investing. And I would suggest at that point, hiring an art consultant to kind of advise you, an art advisory, to take you to that next level, because then you're at a different game where it becomes more of an investment than anything else.
I totally agree. It's like almost having a stock market analyst managing your money, because when you get into that upper level, you've got to keep up with every single auction house that's selling pieces, and what show is this guy doing, and what other collections is he in or she in, and it's a whole different ballgame.
Right, but and I agree with you, but even in the realm that we are in, let's say you have an emerging artist that's in the $5,000 to $10,000 range. As a collector, obviously you're not going to hire a consultant to work with you on that, but you can do your own homework, and you want to make sure that artist is represented by legitimate galleries. You want to make sure that you can check on the histories of the purchases. You can call the galleries and say, what did this particular artist's work go for 2-3 years ago? What's the plan for the future? What are they working on? So you can do your own bits of information, investigation to kind of see where that work is going and make a judgment call.
Right. And get out and go to fairs. Once we
For
have,
sure.
You have any personal collection stories of your own?
Like you said, we've been doing this for a while, and I've represented some amazing artists such as one of the top artists right now in New York, Jose Parla. While we're talking about street art, Jose used to work with us and worked in Atlanta. So we have Jose Parlas, Tia Lang, which you probably know back in the 90s. I become emotional with the artists that I represent, so I have to collect the artists that I represent. And I do try to sprinkle some other artists with all the art fairs that we go to, but I've honestly run out of space. So my biggest art collection is in the portfolio in my office. No more wall space anymore.
I hear you. We were doing a little rehearsal the other day with how many artists? 10 artists?
About 10 artists, yeah.
And the one artist says to me, "Eric, tell everybody about that piece you collected of mine." And I said, "I don't think I've collected one of your pieces." This is the perfect opportunity right now.
That's it. That's it.
I said, "Go open that closet over there." I mean, but it's still fun. I mean, Kelly and I are actually acquiring a piece now from Walter Redondo soon, but and he'll be on our show tomorrow. So
yeah, you'd be surprised some of the stories we get in here with our collectors coming in. A few years ago, a funny story. Not a few years ago, actually a while back ago. Atlanta's a big hip hop town. We have a lot of artists, and now in the movies. But we had T.I., who's a big rapper here in Atlanta, come in with his designer. He was getting into art collecting. They come in and they asked to shut the gallery down. And he was a big deal. So we said, all right. But the younger generation in our organization knew who he was. The older generation, like my uncles and my father, had no idea who this guy was. They moved forward and they put his CD into the sound system in the gallery and crank it. Now all of a sudden the gallery turns into a club scene, and he's walking around purchasing pieces, and he bought a lot of artwork. And we have people coming out. What's going on out here? Why is this music happening? And it turned into a bit of a concert. So we get those type of events where collectors come in at that level and really take over the gallery. So it's a lot of fun to see. And that was his first collection, and he was so excited about it. But it happens. It happens on that kind of scale.
Memorable for both of you too, I'm sure.
For sure. I still tell that story every chance I get. And then you get people like Usher who come in, or Cam Newton. They go up to the studio and they want to take pictures with the artists that work in the studio. It's rare to be able to walk into a gallery and say, wow, I love this art. And then you say, well, would you like to meet the artist? And you go up to the studio and there they are. And artist to artist, as a musician, as a painter, that they have a connection. So that's lovely to see from time to time.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm going to go back and touch on your building for a minute again, just so the audience knows. So the margarine factory had these huge vats. They had to be like 30 feet in circumference. I forgot my math. Diameter. Thank you. Anthony and his crew, they cut them out, and you go in there and they're now conference spaces, and it's really cool. I remember you guys telling me you were literally scrubbing the floors for, right?
Let me tell you, our bank told us, they gave us the money to buy this building sight unseen. I think afterwards, when they came in here to see what we had to do, they would have backed out of it. Your cholesterol level would have gone up just walking into the space. There was just garbage everywhere. Still to this day, 20 years later, you walk through and hit pockets of margarine odor that comes out. But yeah, we had these vats where they would churn margarine, and we put 2-3 inch acrylic glass on the bottom where the heating coils were running to heat up the margarine, and you had the churners that would churn the margarine. And we've created sculptural elements with lighting fixtures, and it's really turned into a pretty stunning space. And I think as an art gallery, you can get away. I wish I could take you for a tour. Actually, on our website, we have a virtual 3D tour, but it's a unique space. And when people come here, they're pretty jazzed up about it.
Yeah,
it's a totally cool space. I can vouch for that for sure.
the space itself sounds like an art piece.
Yeah,
it really is. It really is. We have a couple different conference rooms, and to be honest, just between us and no one else, the reason we didn't move out the boilers, it was too expensive. It was genuinely, this place had a lot of these massive pieces of equipment and machinery, so we turned it into art. We can do that with being in the art business. So it turned out to be really nice.
nice.
Great.
Well, Anthony, I appreciate it. And anybody who's watching, you can go to the Deljou booth space on our site and shop around there, and then also hit up your website. You want to give them your website, Anthony?
Sure. Deljouartgroup.com is our website. Another website you can go to is Scope Fine Art, which is more retail driven, where they can go to the website. Deljou Art Group's got a password protection for our galleries, but scopefineart.com is someplace they can go. Definitely check that out.
That's awesome. Hey, thanks, man. Have a happy
Good to
holiday.
see you. Same to you guys. My best. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Have a great night.
it's been
Take
great.
care. Bye-bye.